You're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds bilateral talks with Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Al Nahyan in Delhi. Crown Prince to also call on President Draupadi Murmu later today. First India-Gulf Cooperation Council Foreign Ministers meet, promises to strengthen ties. Venezuela opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez granted asylum in Spain, vows to continue to fight for democracy. At least 48 people killed after a truck carrying travelers crashes head-on with tanker in north-central Nigeria. And world number one, Jannik becomes first Italian to win the US Open, beats Taylor Fritz as US fans wait for end of a 21-year drought continues. Well, moving on, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, met India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi today at New Delhi's iconic Hyderabad House. Both the leaders are holding bilateral talks on a wide range of issues to expand cooperation between both the countries. This is the Crown Prince's first visit to India as the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi. The Crown Prince is also scheduled to call on President Draupadi Murmu and visit Rajghat to pay tribute to Mahatma Gandhi today. And for more, we have Jessica Taneja joining us on this. Well, Jessica, if we talk about the India-UAE ever-growing partnership, it is the first Indian visit of Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi. Discussions on a wide range of issues were expected in this meet with the PM today. Could you brace us with what all is expected to transpire?
Well, we'll have a readout by the evening as to what all was discussed between the two leaders, but rest assured they will be taking stock of the current trade mechanism, which is the free trade agreement that was signed in 2022. It has already been successful in many aspects. 80% of the goods traded between the two countries are without tariffs, and many other goods have seen massively reduced tariffs as well in the past. So of course there could be some negotiations on precious metals. We could talk about new projects that are being undertaken, energy projects, infrastructure projects, connectivity projects. So of course the two leaders have much to talk about, and the relationship is not new. When the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, visited UAE in 2015, that was the beginning of the comprehensive strategic partnership, and soon it became the comprehensive economic partnership agreement, which enabled the two leaders to ensure that the industries of both the countries could join forces and perhaps see that revitalization of economic ties between the two. And UAE, of course, remains as an important partner for India in the Gulf, and not to also forget that it is an important partner in the India-Middle East European Economic Corridor. So looking at how the relationship has moved forward, it certainly looks like there'll be a lot of stock taking, but what are the new MOUs that are getting signed? We'll only know later in the evening. Lipakshi.
Right, Jessica. Talking about the revitalization of the economic ties, as you've been saying, how will this visit of the Crown Prince further reinforce strong India-UAE bilateral relations in new and emerging areas? Especially India-UAE trade reached $85 billion in the year 2022-23, making the UAE, particularly India's third largest trading partner after China and the US.
That's correct, and $85 billion would certainly grow to $100 billion has been projected by 2030, the trade between the two nations. Well, given the kind of investments we'll see in the future, it will totally depend on that. But the thought process and the conceptualization on how this relationship should move forward had been given many, many years ago, and it has been consistent in the past. If you talk about the trade between the two, whether it's petrochemicals, whether it's precious metals or other goods, the two countries have been able to sort of move forward together in a momentum that benefits both their economies. And let's not forget that UAE continues to be the fourth largest investor in India in terms of FDI. So, of course, at this crucial juncture, India would appreciate or would, of course, be able to cement more the relationship further so that these investments keep coming in and the economy is revitalized and functional.
Right, Jessica. Also, amidst escalating tensions in West Asia, if we talk about how will this visit boost a sector such as energy and particularly connectivity also? Will historic maiden visit bolster actually shift in Abu Dhabi and Delhi ties?
Well, there has been already a great momentum between the two when it comes to collaborations in various projects. You talk about energy, trade, connectivity. We've seen in the past as well, and as I pointed out, UAE continues to pump in more and more investment. The companies have been putting in a lot of money in India's infrastructure projects and connectivity projects as well. And the Crown Prince is traveling later in the evening today to Mumbai to attend the meeting with the business leaders there, and he's with his Council of Ministers. So, of course, that will be crucial as to what new projects are on board and how the two countries further collaborate, and not just in trade but also looking at the defense sector. Will there be something? The two already have undertaken many joint exercises, especially in the recent past, as we've noticed, and also the addition of the trilateral where India, UAE and France are together is significant in more ways than one. And of course, India supporting UAE's membership in BRICS and helping it there has certainly given more momentum to that relationship. And of course, UAE was also a dialogue partner and a special invitee, dialogue partner and SCO, pardon me, and a special invitee at the G20 last year. So India has possibly given all kinds of indications that it will continue to work with the UAE, whether it is in trade, whether it comes to people ties, or it's about representation at multilateral forum as partners and allies to continue to strengthen that relationship moving ahead.
Right, Jessica. Also, if you talk about the India-UAE defense cooperation, which has witnessed a renewed momentum in the last few years, especially in January 2024, the first India-UAE bilateral army exercise, Desert Cyclone, was held in Rajasthan. Can we expect something bolstering there also?
Well, certainly that is one sector where we could see it pick some pace at this point. But those talks are, of course, at this moment concealed, and we don't know as to what could come up in terms of the defense discussions, whether India would whether India would provide defense supplies such as crucial missiles or not. It'll be something that we look out for. But when it comes to the exercises, as you pointed out, the Desert Cyclone, the exercises between the two countries' navies has also been very crucial. So, of course, when it comes to defense ties with the UAE, it has always been strengthened. And let's not forget, in the UAE and India have also signed various agreements when India has strategic oil reserves in Dubai. And that is perhaps more significant and important. And given the kind of relationship the two are in, there is no trust deficit, so to say, but only building and cementing of that relationship further.
Right, Jessica, thank you so much for joining us and giving us all those details. And moving on, India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, is in Riyadh, the capital and largest city of Saudi Arabia, to take part in the first India-Gulf Cooperation Council Foreign Ministers meeting. During the visit, he is expected to hold bilateral meetings with foreign ministers from GCC member countries. India and the GCC enjoy a deep and multifaceted relationship in areas including political, trade and investment, energy, cooperation, cultural and people-to-people ties. On day one of his visit, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar visited the Saudi National Museum and King Abdulaziz Foundation for Research and Archives in Riyadh. The minister's visit to this iconic place brought out India's deep historical connect that now serves as a foundation to develop a strong contemporary relationship. On the second leg of his visit, External Affairs Minister will travel to Germany from 10th to 11th of September. This will be his third visit as minister to Berlin. Both India and Germany share a robust strategic partnership, and Germany is one of India's prominent trading partners and among the largest foreign direct investors. The External Affairs Minister will thereafter travel to Switzerland for an official visit from 12th to 13th of September. And now let's give you some latest news on Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections update. Well, Monday is the last date for withdrawal of candidature for polls across 26 Assembly constituencies in the second phase. Over 300 candidates have filed nominations for 26 Assembly constituencies, which are going to polls in the second phase of the three-phase Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections. Polling for this phase will be held on the 25th of this month. As the second phase of poll approaches, political activities are intensifying across Jammu and Kashmir, with campaigns and rallies getting underway. And meanwhile, an infiltration bid from across the India-Pakistan border was foiled in Jammu and Kashmir today based on inputs from intelligence agencies and Jammu and Kashmir Police. Army carried out an anti-infiltration operation during which 2 terrorists were neutralized. A large quantity of warlike stores, including 2 AK-47s and 1 pistol, have been recovered so far, while search operation still continues for the remaining terrorist. And third India-US Defense Acceleration Ecosystem, or the Indus-X system, will begin in California on Monday. Ahead of the summit, India's Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has stressed that the Indian and American startups and innovators are important to our national security. In a social media post on X, he said, and I quote, "The India-US Defense Acceleration Ecosystem Summit gives technology leaders in India and the United States a vibrant platform to foster partnerships and collaborations in defense sector. Wishing the event a grand success," unquote. And the 2-day summit has advanced the commitment to build an innovation bridge under the initiative on critical and emerging technology. Moving on, the 54th meeting of the GST Council is underway in Delhi. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is chairing the meeting. The last GST Council meeting was held in June this year, in which the Council had recommended a uniform rate of 12% GST on all steel, iron and aluminium milk cans. The Council had also recommended that services provided by the Indian Railways to the common man, including the sale of platform tickets, the facility of retiring rooms and waiting rooms, and battery-operated car services, will not attract any GST. And India's Home Minister Amit Shah visited Lal Bagh Cha Raja in Mumbai. Shah was accompanied with State Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. Shah is also visiting Ganpati Idol installation in the residence of DCM Devendra Fadnavis and Mumbai BJP Chief Ashish Shelar. And moving on, as the protests are spreading far and wide against East India's West Bengal capital, Kolkata's rape case in RG Kar Hospital, Supreme Court in Delhi has ordered CBI to file fresh report within a week. New hearing will take place on September 17th as the Apex Court has resumed hearing on reports presented by CBI and the state government. The hearing is done by 3 Supreme Court judges led by Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. Earlier, Indian government had filed an application in the Apex Court alleging non-cooperation by the West Bengal government. In its application, India's Home Ministry has termed the alleged non-cooperation of the ruling TMC government in West Bengal as an example symptomatic of a systemic malaise and sought a direction to the state authorities to extend full cooperation to the Central Industrial Security Force. And thousands of diaspora Indians protested in more than 130 cities across 25 countries on Sunday to demand justice for the trainee doctor who was raped and murdered last month at R.G. Kar Medical College and Hospital in Kolkata on 9th of August. The protest started in large and small groups across Japan, Australia, Taiwan and Singapore before spreading to cities in Europe and the US. A suspect has been arrested along with the former principal of R.G. Kar Medical College, where the victim was studying. And US Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump will encounter each other in their first much-awaited debate on Tuesday morning. Both are preparing for the mega event in the runoff to the election that will take place on November 5th. Here is a report by Akhilesh Suman on how the debate will take place.
Our democracy. With what Donald Trump has been doing.
A massive television audience is expected to tune in Tuesday to watch Democrat Kamala Harris, the current US Vice President, go toe-to-toe with Republican former President Donald Trump. Both are calling it the most important election of modern times in the US. In his own style, Trump took a jibe at Kamala Harris a day earlier in North Carolina.
She's right now practicing. Do you know that? She's in Pennsylvania, and she's practicing for the debate. She's locked herself in a room. She's got a lot to learn. She's locked herself in a room, and they have one problem. You know what the problem is? They have MAGA people outside screaming, "We love Trump, we love Trump, we love Trump," and they can't focus. Can you believe it?
The debate, awaited by audience not only in the US but keenly anticipated by people from all over the world, will be hosted by US broadcaster ABC News. The 90 minutes debate will take place at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia at 9 p.m. local time and will be aired live with 2 commercial breaks. The event will be moderated by 2 ABC anchors, but there will be no audience in the room. No questions or topics would be shared in advance with any of the candidates, and mic of one candidate will be muted when the other is speaking. Candidates will not offer any opening statements, but they will be allotted 2 minutes to answer each question, with 2 minutes granted to their opponent for a rebuttal. However, there will be an additional minute for a follow-up, clarification or response against the rebuttal. No pre-written notes will be allowed, but the candidates will be given a pen and a paper to note down and also be given a bottle of water. The candidates will stand behind podiums through the entire length of the debate, and no contacts will be allowed at any point of time, even during the commercial breaks. The debate gets interesting as rating for Trump has increased this week at 48%, surpassing Harris's 47%, according to a New York Times poll. According to AFP, many American voters are looking forward to discussions on policy and values, but they also will be closely watching the candidates' style, composure and presidential bearing. However, some observers are portraying the debate as one between Kamala the cop versus Gish Galloper Trump. They remember Kamala Harris as a prosecutor in the past and Trump as a convicted felon. Akhilesh Suman's report for DD India.
And marking the National Grandparents' Day, which is observed in several countries, presidential candidate and US Vice President Kamala Harris shared a photograph of her Indian grandparents on the social media platform X, along with a short account about her travels to India. Posting the photograph, Harris wrote, and I quote, "As a young girl visiting my grandparents in India, my grandfather took me on his morning walks where he would discuss the importance of fighting for equality and fighting corruption. He was a retired civil servant who had been part of the movement to win India's independence. My grandmother traveled across India, bullhorn in hand, to speak with women about accessing birth control. Their commitment to public service and fight for a better future live on in me today. Happy National Grandparents' Day to all the grandparents who help shape and inspire the next generation," unquote. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. With no concrete solution to the Israel-Hamas crisis in sight, protests continue in Tel Aviv against Israeli government's lax handling of the crisis.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Napakshi Kurana, and moving on, Venezuelan opposition presidential candidate Edmundo Gonzalez has fled the country after being granted asylum in Spain. Spain's foreign ministry said in a statement Gonzalez arrived at the Torrejón de Ardoz military base with his wife. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado said Gonzalez left Spain because his life was in danger. Gonzalez's exit came a week after Venezuelan authorities issued an arrest warrant for him, accusing him of conspiracy and other crimes. President Nicolas Maduro dismissed all such assertions and said there was a right-wing plot to sabotage his government. Gonzalez, who has challenged President Nicolas Maduro's declaration of victory, said in a recorded message he trusts he will continue the fight for the return of democracy in Venezuela from Spain. And in Nigeria, at least 48 people were killed in a fuel tanker truck explosion on Sunday following a collision with another truck in north-central Nigeria. The truck was carrying travelers and cattle, while several other vehicles were also caught up in the accident. And protesters in Tel Aviv blocked traffic on Sunday as frustration mounts over the Israeli government's handling of hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. The demonstrations erupted after 6 hostages were brutally killed by Hamas last week, fueling public outcry. Thousands have taken to the streets demanding action. On Sunday, several hundred demonstrators gathered near the Israeli Defense Ministry, briefly halting traffic to amplify their demands. And in sports, world number 1 Jannik produced a brilliant display of baseline power as he became the first Italian man to win the US Open with a win over American Taylor Fritz in the final on Sunday. World number 1 Sinner has secured his second Grand Slam title of 2024, shattering American hopes of a first male champion at the majors in 21 years. Sinner secured a powerful 6-3, 6-4, 7-5 victory over Fritz. Sinner was under a cloud of controversy at the start of the tournament, but avoided a ban when an independent tribunal accepted his claim. The 23-year-old broke for a 6th time in the contest to wrap up the win, with Fritz swiping a forehand into the net on match point. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Napakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.